Hello, welcome to Coffee English. Today, we are going to hear a story, a long, deep, emotional story. A story about a boy who was born unable to feel. A story about silence, isolation, pain, connection, and the slow discovery of humanity. This story is inspired by the novel known as Almond. Some people are born feeling everything. They cry easily. They laugh loudly. They feel embarrassed, excited, afraid, angry, in love. But some people are born unable to feel almost anything at all. They don't understand fear. They don't recognize joy. They don't know what sadness is supposed to feel like. They don't understand why people cry, or laugh, or scream. This is not a metaphor. It is a medical reality. This is the story of a teenage boy who lives his entire life without emotions. His name is Yoonjae. Inside Yoonjae's brain, the part responsible for processing emotions is much smaller than normal. So small that doctors compare it to the size of an almond. Because of this, Yoonjae does not experience the world the way others do. He does not cry when he is hurt. He does not feel nervous when he is in danger. He does not feel warmth when someone shows him love. He does not feel anger when he is insulted. He does not feel happiness when something good happens. His face rarely changes. His heart rarely reacts. His mind works, but his emotions remain silent. Instead of feelings, he relies on logic. Instead of instincts, he follows instructions. Instead of emotions, he follows rules. When someone cries in front of him, he does not understand why. He quietly asks himself what he is supposed to do. Should he look away? Should he say something? Should he stay silent? Should he leave the room? When someone smiles at him, he does not feel warmth. He only wonders whether he should smile back, to look normal. To survive in a world full of emotions, Yoonjae must learn how to pretend. His mother and grandmother understand this better than anyone else. They know how dangerous the world can be for a boy who cannot feel fear, a boy who cannot read emotions, a boy who cannot sense danger. So they teach him everything they can. They create cards with drawings of facial expressions, a smiling face, a sad face, an angry face, a surprised face. They explain what each expression means. They tell him when to say, "I'm sorry," when to say, "thank you," when to say, "that's okay," when to stay quiet. They teach him how to behave like a normal human being. They are his shield, his guide, his emotional dictionary in a world he does not understand. And without them, Yoonjae would be completely lost. For a while, life continues in this quiet and controlled way. School is difficult, but manageable. People find him strange, but he keeps his distance. He moved through life like a silent observer. Until one evening. Just a few days before his birthday. A night that was supposed to be ordinary. A night that was supposed to be peaceful. Suddenly becomes a nightmare. There is shouting, chaos, blood on the ground, people screaming in horror. Police lights flash across the street. Strangers gather in fear. The world breaks apart in an instant. And in that moment, Yoonjae loses the only people who truly understood him. His mother, his grandmother. They are gone. People around him cry. People tremble. People shake with trauma. But Yoonjae feels nothing. No panic, no sadness, no anger, no fear, no despair. Only silence. A deep, empty silence. Everyone expects him to scream, collapse, cry. But his face stays calm. His eyes stay still. His heart remains quiet. He is now completely alone in a world built on emotions. A world that speaks a language he cannot understand. A world that now feels distant and confusing. With his family gone, Yoonjae's life changes completely. He moves into a new environment. He lives under the watchful eyes of people who pity him. People who whisper behind his back. People who call him the strange boy. The boy who didn't cry. The boy who doesn't feel. He notices how people look at him differently now. With fear. With curiosity. With confusion. And for the first time in his life, he begins to truly observe others. He watches how people talk, how they express sadness, how they express anger, how they express love, how they hurt one another with words, how they comfort one another with silence. He studies humanity like a scientist observing a distant species. This is when he meets someone very different from everyone else, a boy named Gon. Gon is the opposite of Yoonjae. Where Yoonjae is calm, Gon is wild and aggressive. Where Yoonjae is quiet, Gon is loud and aggressive. Where Yoonjae feels nothing, Gon feels everything too intensely. He burns with anger, with bitterness, with pain he cannot control. He has lived a hard life, abandoned, rejected, misunderstood. His emotions burn inside him like fire, and when he meets Yoonjae, he cannot understand him. How can someone be so calm, so emotionless, so empty? This confusion turns into obsession. He wants to break Yoonjae. He wants to make him angry, make him cry, make him feel something, anything. He insults him, pushes him, shouts in his face, hits him, humiliates him. He tries everything to force an emotion out of him. But Yoonjae does not react. He does not fight back. He does not cry. He does not beg. He simply stands there, silent and still. And this disturbs Gon even more. For the first time, he meets someone who does not react to fear, someone who does not respond to violence, someone who is not controlled by emotions. And strangely, in that emptiness, a connection begins to form, a dark, complicated bond. As time passes, something unexpected happens. Small changes begin to appear inside Yoonjae. At first, they are barely noticeable. A tension in his chest, a tightness in his throat, a strange warmth inside his body. He does not understand these sensations. Are these emotions? Is this what others feel? He begins to feel something when he listens to music. He notices the beauty of the rain. He hears the pain in other people's voices. Little by little, the world starts to gain meaning. Not fully, not clearly, but enough to confuse and disturb him. He begins to understand loneliness. He begins to understand connection. He begins to understand that life is more than logic and rules. He begins to understand that pain is real, that loss is real, that people hurt, that people love, that people need one another. This story is not only about a boy without emotions. It is about a world full of broken people, a world that does not know how to deal with difference, a world that is cruel to those who don't fit in, a world desperate for connection. It is a story about what it means to be human, not through perfection, but through pain, through mistakes, through silence, through struggle, through small steps towards understanding. And most importantly, it reminds us, even the quietest heart, even the coldest silence, even the most distant soul, may still be learning how to feel, may still be learning how to speak, may still be learning how to be alive. And this is why this story stays with us long after it ends. Because it reminds us that emotions are not weakness. They are what make us human. Thank you for listening to Coffee English. And remember, sometimes the deepest stories are hidden inside the quietest minds.